Hi, Cutie Pies. This is Lanikia coming to you with. Okay, I have a guilty pleasure. It used to be Basketball Wives, but then I don't watch that anymore. But this show called Love After Lockup is like my guilty pleasure. I've been glued to it every Friday, and I don't watch most shows like every single week, but every Friday night at 8 o'clock, I am tuned in to this show. So, because there are a few episodes in, I'm just gonna do a recap of that episode, and then at the end of the end of recapping that episode, I'll just do the other people as well as what's going on with them. So we start off this episode with Nicole and Dante. Now listen, I started watching this show because the girl from the Woodlands, that's Texas. I was like, oh, okay. So I started watching because of that, because I love the Woodlands. But then I became hooked to the show because of Nicole and Dante, because this is the most ridiculousness I have ever seen. Like, I don't understand what he doesn't understand. When they first introduced them, and he was like, "Oh, looks can be deceiving." I'm like, "No, they cannot. She looks exactly like what she is." But anyway, so Nicole and Dante are getting ready to meet his mom, so they're making salad and everything, because she's coming over for dinner to meet Nicole for the first time. And then Nicole hits this, so they're talking, and then Nicole hits Dante with the cost of her boob job. So it's gonna cost like 6,000, and she was saying, well, that's good, baby, because I thought it was gonna cost 8. Now Dante is just like, whoo, that's a lot of money, and she was like, you don't have it to pay for it or whatever, and he was like, I'll get you the money. I don't care if I have to miss paying bills, and like, sir. And she said, you would do that for me? You wouldn't pay your rent to pay for my boob job? And he says, yes, he would do that. And I'm like, sir, there's not that much love in the world. Like, there's not that much love in the world to have you not pay your bills so that she can have a boob job. Like, that makes no sense. But he's wide open, so that's what it is with them. Then she tells, so they've done all this, and then she tells them, oh, I forgot to tell my friend Tia happy birthday. So then he's like, what, Tia, your ex? Because y'all remember the last few episodes, Nicole had been saying, from the beginning, she had said that she was not with anyone in prison. It was just him. She's just been waiting on him. We knew that was a lie. I mean, but last week his friend got it out of her that Tia is someone that she was intimate with, and she really likes Tia. Is what's crazy about the whole situation. But anyway, so she goes and wishes Tia a happy birthday, and he's like, she's in my house using the phone that I paid for, wishing her ex a happy birthday. If that were me, it would be something different. Well, it's not anything different because you're not making it anything different. If you don't want her to disrespect you that way, then you should stand up and say something. But because he's saying nothing, she continues to do this. So now she's peddling around, and she's really on the phone telling Tia, I don't want to meet his mom. Oh, you're sick. I want to come take care of you. I wish you would come get me. And then she finds y'all know he was messing with that little toy that he had bought. Anyway, I have no problem with him having this toy. It's weird for me personally, but he just because it's not even a full blow up toy. It's just a little miniature. But anyways, I mean, I think the nasty part of it is just that he put it in the dishwasher. I was like, sir, the dishwasher. But she finds that, and oh my gosh, she's just overtaken by this being so creeped out by him. Like, he's been creepy. That's why she doesn't want to be with him. That's another reason. I mean, he is. I mean, yeah, he's creepy. But you knew that, and that's the whole reason why you're messing with him, because you know he is creepy. But you know also that he's very vulnerable, so you can get all this money out of him. So anyway, so she's talking about how disgusting he is to Tia, and so he's like, he comes into the room and he was like, are you serious right now? Because she's gotten off at this point, she's off the phone with Tia. Now, first of all, he came into his room knocking, like, this is your house. But she's off the phone with Tia, and she was just like, I found this toy and all that. And so he was just pretty much upset because he was like, you're talking about me, you're like downing me to your ex. And she was like, no, it ain't even about that, it's about this is disgusting and it's creepy and creeps me out or whatever. She flipped all of that on him. And then he finally gets upset and finally tells her, If you don't want to be here, leave. But give me all my stuff. Like, if all you want is material things, then just leave. Even him saying that means he didn't really want her to leave. So then that's that part. So Stan is ready for Stan. Yeah, I thought, to me, the creepiest person on this whole show is Stan, because he won't admit that he really wants to just buy Lisa. That's really what he, like, telling her she was a bad mom, getting all upset. Like, you just want her to go upstairs with you and put you in the straitjacket. Did y'all hear that on the episode? I was like, Stan, you're weird. That's why you're messing with Lisa, because you're weird. But he wants to go upstairs and get in this straitjacket so bad with Lisa. And she's like, sir, you said something very mean, telling me that I'm a bad mom. Rude. Like, no, I'm not just going to hop up and go upstairs with you. Um, and then she starts telling him stuff about, like, she wants to get her license. She wants to get a car. And he's like, you have no license. And she said, well, like, you didn't care that I didn't have a license when you were promising to give me a car, $5,000 to get a car. So, like, I don't know what to tell you, Stan. You shouldn't have said it. And then he gets pulled over, because at this point they're driving, and they're driving home. And if you watch, she never told Stan that she was going upstairs. She said, we need to talk. He was the one making all this innuendo about going, like, doing other stuff, and she never said she was wanting to do that. Okay, so then we see Ray gets out. So Brittany is there to pick up Ray from the halfway house. And he gets out, and I think he's the last person. They're all finally out. It took a long time. He gets out, and his grandma shows up, and it's like, Grandma, stop it. Like, and I don't get his grandma, because she's like, who would meet a man from prison, like, and yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, ma'am, you should be happy. This is a good girl. I mean, it might be something wrong with her, because I don't know. I don't know. People find love all types of ways. Who knows? But she wants to be with him. She's really turning her life, like, her family is not happy with her right now, but she's choosing him and everything. Like, Grandma, back up. Let this man get out and spend some time with Brittany. So Ray gets out or whatever. And he goes, gives Brittany a few kisses. Then he goes to his grandma. And then Brittany is just like, so what are you going to do? Are you going with your grandma? Are you coming with me? And he was like, girl, get in the car. I'm coming with you. Because grandma, no. Like, no. So she takes him home. So then we see Josh. Okay, so Courtney is going to try on wedding dresses. And she and Josh can't live with together, because remember, Courtney was the correctional officer who lost her job because she fell in love with him, and she was wilding, because she was going back to the prison to work later on, wearing different wigs and stuff, and she said she did it for like 8 weeks and got caught. Girl, you should have never done it. But anyway, so she gave up her career for him, to be with him, and they end up getting married. But they got married by proxy, so they had 2 people stand in for them. So now they want to have a real wedding, and she is frustrated at this point, because she says all he wants to do is sit there all day and play video games, and she is needing affection. She wants him to hold her hand. Like, she's wanting simple things. I want him to hold my hand. Like, that is so simple. And she just, I think she's starting to think, I hope this was worth it, because right now it doesn't feel like it's worth it. So she's getting dressed, and she tells us that he flushed his wedding ring down the toilet when he was in prison, like 2 weeks or so before he got it. I don't know. Like, it's toxic. It's toxic. The relationship, I don't know. I sometimes when you give up so much for someone, and when you're facing these extreme circumstances, it does push you together. And then when you don't have those type of circumstances in the relationship, then sometimes it don't work out. It is what it is. But that's Courtney and Josh. And I actually like Courtney. I don't know. She's one of my favorite people on this show. I think their storyline is a little boring, so they don't show them often. But I like her on here. Oh, and they're going to be separated for 3 years. They could be separated for 3 years because she's on probation, remember? Okay. So then we see Deontay is upset with Nicole, and again she just slides right out of it. She, like, I don't want to fight. I'm too grown to be fighting and all that. And I'm like, okay. He was like, I hate fighting with you like that, right? I'm like, sir. And she just like, so why are we still talking about it? Yes, manipulation at its finest, and he just wants her so bad that he let her do it to him. So then his mom shows up, right? So his mom shows up, y'all. This was the best scene the whole season. So they sitting down at the dinner table, and she tells his mom, "I love your son." And she's like, "Why you love my son?" "Because he's a good man. You raised a good one." She said, "I know his character." She didn't really go into why she loved her son. I mean, because she can't tell you why she loves him. She loves the things he buys her. She loves that she can manipulate him. But that's just me, my opinion. She might honestly love him. But I don't know. But anyways, so then Deontay tells his mom, because she tells Nicole, "I'm very protective of him because he wears his heart on his sleeve." Then Deontay tells his mom, "I'm very glad you're protective." It started out good, y'all. "I'm very glad you're protective of me. But I'm a man, and this is gonna be your future daughter." I roll my eyes and get a headache every time he says this. "This is gonna be your future daughter-in-law. This is gonna be the mother of your grandkids." I'm like, boy, hush, that girl don't want you. She won't even let you touch her. But that's what he's saying. But okay, so then he tells his mom, if you don't like her or whatever, and if you don't want to be around her, then you can't be around me. And his mama said, "Okay, hold up. Who are you talking to like this?" And I was like, "Get him, mama. Get him," because he's wilding at this point. So then she tells him, like, "You can't tell me who I can like and who to like and who not to like. You don't know this girl. You don't know what she wants with you and everything." And so then this started a whole conversation between he and him telling Nicole about his last, well, she already knew. She's like, "I'm tired of being compared to his ex." And then he was like, "Well, it's hard not to compare you because, you're just paranoid that it'll happen again." And his mom was like, "Well, you can't be too paranoid. You went back on the site and found another one." He was like, "Mama, whose side are you on?" And she was quiet. I'm like, but I mean, she's on your side, but she's just saying, she's giving you the truth, which somebody needs to, because your friend, everyone really is giving Deontay the truth. He just don't want to listen to it. So he goes on and he tells his mom, like, "I'm sleeping by myself. She's been out a week and she hasn't slept in this bed not one time." And his mom was like, hold up. You telling me," she was like, "because women enjoy intimacy just as much as men. So you telling me you haven't been with a man in 4 years. You say you love this man for 4 years, and you haven't done anything for 4 years. You haven't been with a man. You say you love this man, and you've been out for a week and have done nothing." And she was like, I'm just afraid, and I'm just like, that's Nicole. And his mom was like, "No, you're not. You just you don't want to with him." And yes, she pinged it right from the beginning, because the mama was like, "This is his type, blonde stripper type." She pinged it right from the beginning that Nicole don't want him, and he just doesn't want to admit that. But anyways, we're gonna move right along. So it just ends up being where his mom is looking at him like, "Deontay, stop playing yourself. This girl don't want you. Like, move on from her. This is just you've repeated yourself." And she's looking at Nicole like, "You don't love my son. You love what he can do for you." And she was like, "I would say I loved you too if you were buying me all this stuff." And that's how it was with the mom and all of them. So then Anissa and Jeff. Okay. Jeff? I'm sorry. I'm trying to gather my thoughts about Jeff, how I feel about Jeff. Okay, so the friend Kyle, Anissa's friend Kyle, that's really looking out for her, I think he pegged it right off. Jeff is still a con artist. And he's conning Anissa. I don't think he wants to be with her. I think something happened and she was his option this time. Because if you were supposed to meet her twice before, he's like, third time's a charm. Like, she, like, he don't want her. I don't believe he wants her. I think it's all a long con. And in a few years, or even in a few months, if he finds something better, he's out the door. And I feel bad for her because it seems like she's really wrapped up into him. But he's talking about, oh, we can't get married because of this and that. And remember the last episode, it was, oh, you can't meet me today. But he managed to meet outside to go pick up the stuff. I don't know, y'all. I don't really care for him. And then he's talking to his old ex, Kristen, and he's saying that it's nothing there, but he's talking to her. I don't know. And then he tells Kyle a secret. He doesn't really like Kyle, and you don't like Kyle because Kyle can read right through you. He's not Anissa. He's not in love with you, so he's reading right through you and can see you for what you are. I don't know, y'all. I feel like Anissa and Deontay are going to be the ones that, if this doesn't work out on this show, they would be hurt the most by it not working out. But I don't see it. I don't see it. So then we see Dion. Oh, I think Jeff's secret is that he's married or something. I think he's still married. So then we see Deontay say, he's driving Nicole home, right? To her mom, excuse me. Sinus. He's driving her home to her mom's, and he says, I think mom's likes you. Sir, no. Like, that dinner did not go well at all. And Nicole's like, that dinner was not going well, but I'm not going anywhere. Girl, shut up. So then he says, he wants to take her upstairs and take her to the porch like he always does every time. And she's like, no, because my mom gonna be fussing if the dogs start barking and wake her up. Like, what's the difference between you going in and he got, like, either way? It didn't make sense. And like, sir, like, you're not this gullible. But he said, okay. And then she sits out on the porch smoking a cigarette on her phone, and he's like, as long as I've been dropping her off at home every night, she's never done that. So he swirls it back, because his gut is telling him, take yourself back around and look. So he does. He takes himself back around and he looks, and sure enough, someone is picking her up. I don't know if it's Zach. I don't know if it's Tia. I don't know who's picking her up. But then he pulls up and he's like, "Oh, where you going?" And then they didn't bring that one back. She'll probably play it off. Who knows? So then Stan was Stan was pulled over, and he's like, "See, my record was all clear, so I got to go." And Lisa was just like, he wasn't even caring about me. Like, I have PTSD when I see blue and red lights. And he's still talking about going home and going upstairs or whatever, because Stan is trying to get in that straight jacket. Trying to tell you, he's trying to get in that straight jacket. And so she's like, so they make it home, and he's like wanting to go upstairs, and she was like, we need to talk. And so they get into it, and he says, at least I have a car. And she was just like, see, I knew it. I knew that was the stand or whatever, because he tried to act like, oh, it was just bad behavior last week because I was drunk and I had little sleep and all that. But it's not. He's just mad because he wants her to go right upstairs and do things to him, or I don't know. But she's like, I don't want to. I'm not saying she acted like Nicole. Because hers is a little bit different. Stan has been rude to her. Like, sir, if you wanted her to do this kind of stuff, you would be nicer. But you're trying, like, you just feel like, well, because I've spent this money out on you and because I have money, you're supposed to just do this kind of stuff for me. And she's like, no, I have a few thousand saved up because apparently when they're in prison or get jail, I don't know, the money that you put on their books, they get that. So she's been saving some of that money, Stan, and giving her. And so, yeah, like, she got options. Like, Nicole has to put up with Dante and make that stuff work because she's using him. But Lisa is just like, nah, I can go to the hotel. I'm cool. So her and Stan get into it, and he's nasty again to her. I don't like Stan. I think he's weird, and just, I don't know, he's just weird to me, and he tries to buy her. And like his friend was saying, like, you, the first thing, she's already feeling guilty because she's been away from her child, and her child is saying, I needed you or whatever, and then you tell her she's a bad mom. That was because at first when we met Stan and Lisa, they made it seem like, okay, here's this woman who's gonna probably con him out of his money. But then when you start meeting them and start talking to them and see the dynamic, Lisa seems completely sane, and Stan seems like the user. Like, he just wants to buy her and get her upstairs and do things and all that. And I was like, your friends were so concerned about you. They should have been concerned about Lisa, because you have a temper. When you don't get things your way, you go off on this girl or whatever. So I don't know. Yeah, so that was that. Okay, so going back, the other couples that they didn't show were Rachel and Doug. Remember, Doug got into it. Okay, first of all, you wouldn't have got into it had you not went on the weekend, which is your probation. Had you not went, because you were not supposed to go anywhere anyways. Doug to me is just like, and I know it's bad to say about children, but his little boy, ugh. I can't stand little smart mouth kids. I cannot. And his little boy, like, get over yourself. Okay. Yeah, dad was in prison. Okay. I'm like, get over yourself. And then who else didn't they show? Oh, that was it. They showed everyone else, but yeah. Oh, I forgot to talk about Ray. Ray and Brittany went home and he enjoyed being at home. That was it. I started watching because of her, but actually her storyline is kind of boring too. Unless something pops off, that stuff is boring. I just want to talk about Lisa and Stan and Dante and Nicole, because really they have the interesting storylines. Everybody else is just fillers until we can get back to them. But yeah, I like Rachel for Doug, but I don't think she needs Doug, if that makes sense. Doug is not good for Rachel, but Rachel is good for Doug. And his dad tried to be like, listen, you got a good one. She really loves you. You better love her and stay good. But he's not. He, like, I don't know. But that was the Love After Lockup. I'll see you tomorrow with a new episode.